Hey, there's Ken.
Right. Can you still see the agenda screen?
No.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I stopped share. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We'll open the meeting. We'll open the YCCC meeting for April 2025. Got a lot to cover this meeting. We got a couple special guests. Just a couple of opening comments. So dues are now due for the calendar year. At this point, we've got looks like around 159 paid up members. We got 62 from 2024 that have yet to renew, and 58 from 2023 that have yet to renew. A lot of you guys are still active. Would really like to see you get square with the club. We've onboarded 6 new members so far versus 16 in total for last year. I see we've got at least 2 new members out here tonight, or today, so that's good. There was a good discussion earlier in the week around the use of some sort of chat program. You probably saw many emails about that. We are, I did propose, and it had been established previously that we use Slack. So, I may have been in there. I loaded the app, opened it up. Since the beginning of the week, we're now up to 81 members that have signed up for Slack. So the concepts there are maybe have it running in the background during contests. If you have an issue or something like that, ping Slack and maybe somebody can help. We'll try it out for a while. If it doesn't meet our needs, it's funny the whole Discord thing, because if you read my write up for the CQWW sideband, CQWWX sideband, I had actually Discord in there. And then later, this whole discussion started, and I know a lot of the younger folks use Discord. I don't see it. It's kind of a clunky app to me. So we'll try Slack for a while. If it doesn't work, we'll do something else. All right. With that, so our secretary is on business travel. He's not able to make it, and additionally,
Hey, Ken, can
yep.
somebody turn on? I'm here. We're hearing RTTY in the background or something. If you can figure out who that is and mute them.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Anybody got Riddy running in the background? Actually, it sounds like an echo. When I talk, I can hear it, right?
Right.
So somebody's echoing back off their microphone back to the thing here. So I can mute all, I guess. Somewhere around here.
That worked.
Okay, I'm all screwed up now. Okay. All right. So no secretary report to vote on at this point. Then that brings us to the treasury report. Let me advance some slides here. Oh, come on. All right. So Bob, you want to talk to this slide at all?
yeah, sure. Okay. So we had a burst of members' dues payments, which is great. And some members were generous to include an extra buck or 2 or 3 to defray the PayPal fees, which again was very much appreciated. And now we're kind of we've gone from the burst or frenetic payment of dues to just a trickle again. Several members decided to purchase club badges. They're $3 each, and K1KP does the actual work on that. So if you're interested, send $3 via PayPal or a check. Let me know, let Tony know, and we'll take care of that for you. There were 2 scholarship donations, or actually there were 3 scholarship donations, $100, 50, and then the balance 35. There were some general fund donations. There were a couple of small donations from members. Again, Very much appreciated. It goes into the general fund. Total dues received via PayPal and by check, $1,820, $1 of interest earned. So we took in from the date of the last report, January 21st, we took in 2,048 for the period January 2nd through April 1st. And the money was spent on the balance of the WRTC 2026 10th sponsorship. We had originally paid 688, I think. No, I'm sorry, 658 and change about a year ago. And this is the balance of the $1,500 that we owe for the NA1-1 tent at WRTC 2026. $110 was spent for contest plaques for 2 different contests. There are either 5 or 6 of these contests that we sponsor plaques in during the year, which come to about $900. So this was actually really a lull in the activity. The Zoom reimbursement to a member who had paid for it for years was very kind of him. Now he's been reimbursed in full, and we're paying $17 and change per month for Zoom privileges. Zoom, and that's the Zoom monthly fees. You see, $34, 2 months were paid. $60 for YCCC banners, which Ken can provide the details on. $50 gift certificate for K5ZD given to him at the last contest meeting, and then PayPal fees of $49. And yes, if there is a way for members to defray that or pay the fees themselves, that would be great. But if not, the club, of course, will continue to have them deducted. So 2,048 in, 1,544 out. Treasury balance increased a bit from 4,333 on January 22nd to 4,837 on April 1st. And then really it's July through November where the majority of our fees come due at once. No important club filings or anything else done in this period of time. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the treasurer's report?
Yeah, Bob.
Yes. Hey, Chet.
Hi, good morning. Small question. The last week or so, I have forwarded to you some items that I received in my email with regard to the treasurer duties. Did you get those?
I did, and I responded to 2 of them, and I'm very glad that you're here today because I wanted to let you know that they're bounced back from me. For some reason, either my email address or your email address is not being recognized by the ISP. So my email to you is not getting through. And I wanted to find out if you either had an alternate email address or we could talk on the phone and figure out a workaround for that.
Well, or just give it some time. I'll send you another note today and just respond to it and see if that works.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to send a formal message because I actually have 4 of the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's not clear when I look at the distribution list, I scratch my head and say, why did I even get this? But okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry you're getting them. Ken and I are trying to figure out how and why and get that taken care of. Hopefully we'll have a little more success.
Okay.
But in the
Yeah.
meantime, I'm glad you raised that. I wanted to let you know that yes, in fact, I have been responding. I'm just baffled as to why in the past my messages to you were getting bounced, which was not the case for years prior.
Yeah, if we were to try to figure that out, we'd take the rest of the meeting. So let's just go on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Just a comment. So the YCCC banner, we were contacted by essentially DX Engineering by Terry Brisker. They were looking for a new banner from us to be able to hang at the contest U. We had left our old one back there in 2022, and the old one was pretty beat up. And so Terry reached out to me this year and said, "Ken, we need a new banner. You know, yours looks like hell. It's gotten beat up." So what I did was I used that service that I created the last two banners from and just had it mailed directly to Terry, and Terry will hang on to that. And she uses it as part of the setup for the contest you out at the Hamvention. Other than that, like Bob said, we came to agreement with K1IR on the Zoom stuff, and I think he's happy and we're happy. And so that's it. All right, so I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So related to this, let me just do the dues increase stuff next. So as you know, at the February meeting, we did pitch a potential change to our bylaws. It is codified in our bylaws what the current dues rate is. So as such, we need to go through a formal voting process. So just for the people who didn't see the February update, you know, we've been looking at for many years a decline in revenue for membership. This chart here is a chart actually done by Chet a while ago. The 2019 number was the year we gave a free COVID year to people who so chose. So we were down a little bit that year. The following years were up, but then we're on a steady pace down. So Bob and I had been reviewing the budget back in January, and of course that big wave of dues hadn't hit, and I really wasn't aware that that's kind of what would happen. But at any rate, we were getting pretty tight, and it didn't look like, as part of our budget process, we set a goal for income, and we were way off the mark on the income. So right now we're pretty much on track. We should make our budgeted amount if dues keep trickling in before the end of the fiscal year. At any rate, we're pitching to the membership, you know, that your money goes for good things. And, you know, it's part of why you're with the club. Just some of the resources that the club can provide, like the email reflector, the archives of that, peer-to-peer discussions. Now we got the Slack, you know, chat channel. We got the groups, workspace stuff if you so choose to join that. And basically a collection of like-minded people. We also in the community sponsor some, I think it's 12 or 13 plaques. Is that right, Bob? Do you have a full picture of the number of plaques that we sponsor?
Offhand, no, but I would say probably like 13, 14.
Yeah.
It's a pretty significant number.
Okay. So those cost money now. Those prices have gone up to a large extent. We, you know, as a community, we try to offer a scholarship. So we discussed that at length last year. This really doesn't come out of the membership dues funds. It usually comes out of special contributions and things like that. But we do try to do those things. Of course, we're a big supporter of the WRTC. A lot of times we supply the competitors. And if you remember back in 2014, we supplied the manpower to run it. And we look to continue some strong financial contributions to those efforts that you saw earlier in the treasurer's report. So we did get the North America 1/10 sponsorship. There's some confusion last year where we had made a donation and they assumed that was our donation for the tent, but the tents are 1,200 pounds to sponsor. So we contacted them and said, look, you misunderstood this money. So we basically, that was the funds you saw there allocated. So it brings us up to a $1,200 pound level of funding. At any rate, we want to be able to keep doing that. We're going to hear a little bit more about this organization around 11 o'clock when Tim shows up, talk about the WWRF and why we think we should be supporting that pretty strongly over the years. So as a result, looking at the people who renew on a yearly basis, we do have several, quite a significant number now have paid all the way up through 2031. That's a little bit harder for us to account for because that money gets spent and then we have, no income from those folks. So in general, about 150 people a year do renew on a yearly basis. And at $15 a person, that wasn't really sufficient to maintain the level of service that we want to the community. Feels like $25 is the right number.
Federal tax.
So as such, we're proposing a dues increase, where it currently reads $15 with substitute $25. We did go back and look at this in an directors meeting.
Oh, they owe her about.
Should we do different things with youth members and stuff like that? Well, we already have a youth member class of $10. So we decided to stick with the proposal as it was written. So at this time, this is what it would look like in the Constitution, just a simple change, 15 to 25. So we did first announce it in the February newsletter. So we've met the 30-day notice. I have been working contacting former members who are not dues current, but that's a pretty daunting task. So we're going to start the voting as of today's meeting. And once a super quorum of folks, which is around 59 or 60 people, have had a chance to vote in favor, we would then increase the dues on July 1st as our 2025 target. All right, so as a result, with that, I need to do some, because I don't have a secretary, I need to do some counting here. So we have 34 participants in the channel at this moment. At least two potential new members. I would ask that they refrain from voting. But at this point, I'll poll the organization. All in favor for dues increase starting July 1st?
Aye.
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 Okay, and then what I'll do is all not in favor? Okay, great. So what's going to happen is we're going to have to continue the voting at future meetings. So we won't be ending this meeting. We'll only be suspending this meeting at the end. All right, thank you. I'll be able with the Zoom recorder figure out who voted in the affirmative. All right, that takes care of that. Just a few more words about 2025 meeting schedule. So of course we're here in the general meeting now. So we have been talking with the W1SRG guys, and we've zeroed in on two potential dates, July 16th or July 26th. So we'll be out of the grad season and things like that. So keep a watch on the reflector. When they come back to us to say which date works best for them, we'll use that and start advertising that. Of course, we do have now yearly Ham Expo, and that would be our
Ken?
next live meeting.
Ken,
Yes.
it looks like the 16th of July is a Wednesday. Is that correct?
Let me see. I gotta find a calendar. All right, it would be that weekend, whatever that works out to be. All right, April, May, June, July. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it would be the 19th. 19th or the 26th would be the two potential dates. Thank you. Thank you for that correction. All right. We do have Ham Expo live as a live meeting in August. And then to close out the year, there'll be, the traditional beginning of October, beginning of the fall contest season type meeting, and then December. most likely Zoom at the moment. Really no details there. Additionally, I'll try to pull together something just before CQW, PXCW, just to get people focused back on that second round of the WPX contests. And that would wrap up the year. All right, any questions on that? All right, at this point, we'll do some competitions updates. So Mike has just produced the ARRL DX. I've got to change my screen share here. Hang on. All right. All right, Mike, you want to take it away?
Sure. Okay, this is Mike Fisick. I apologize. This is only the CW results. Life's been a little chaotic. A tree fell on my shed and my tower, and my wife's in the hospital. So just the way it is. Okay, so these are the overall raw scores for the DXCW contest. This is the ARRL one, which I will say right now is not as easy to work with as CQ. I wish all contests were like CQ. Go, Randy. We got walloped by FRC. I do work closely with the FRC guy to check the scores and everything. So they basically beat us by a factor of 1.5, and PBRC was not far behind us. So it's not that we should worry as much about getting beaten by FRC. We don't want to be beaten by PBRC. So, all right, next slide. All right, these are the points by category. Basically, FRC generated a lot of points by assisted multi-ops and by single operators doing high power assisted. I mean, they crushed us in that regard. As you can see in the thing in the right-hand corner, they were 87% assisted, and you go down the other end of the spectrum, PBRC was only 77%. And that's where the points came from. Basically, high power assisted operations, single operators. Next slide, please. If you like to look at the numbers, here are the raw numbers for points generation by category. Excuse me. It's interesting if you look at high power assisted points by operator. I mean, PBRC had 65 operators, but they were generating like 30% more points than we were per operator. And PBRC just was kind of hanging out. They were generating like half the points we were generating per operator. So that's the story right there. It's all in the individual assisted high power category where they generated all their points and we didn't.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay, next slide. I like plotting this up. A lot of people probably wonder why, but it really shows, you know, PBRC was consistent, and throughout all their stations, they just stayed and worked more points than we did. FRC, I meant. PBRC, and to a lesser degree, our scores were driven by superstations. I mean, for us, on the top was K1LZ, and then you had Randy. They generated a big chunk of our points. Whereas for the red line for FRC, they was just consistent. The same guys generating, you had like a handful of stations generating a lot of points, and then it just went down to everybody generating more points than the rank and file YCCC member. Now these are raw scores. I don't have any button chair numbers, but I think it's pretty obvious to take away from this. They just spent more time operating than we did. Next slide. These are my takeaways. They're the same from every brief I give here. They kick butt by having more operators than we did, having more people running assisted, having more people running assisted single high power. And that's it. They just put in the effort and beat us.
All right,
Any
thank you, Mike.
questions?
What I like about the work you do is you do strike up a good dialogue with Dave Hawes there from FRC. And I think it's been useful for the both of you.
Yeah.
Sorting out some of the multi-op situations. There was some learning that happened in this round where multi-ops reporting scores for ARL contest have the opportunity to go in on the submittal page and submit the splits between clubs. And there's a suspicion that not a lot of people are aware of that. I know I wasn't until Dave Hawes mentioned it.
Yeah, I've
So-
never submitted for a multi-op, so I didn't realize it was that complicated. And
Yeah.
I'm really questioning if everybody's doing that.
Yep. So we see a lot of that. All right. Well, Mike was working on that. So in the meantime, CQWW final results were announced. And let me just share just some analysis I did there. Not quite as nice as what Mike does here. So this is based on the final results data. And it's just looking at YCCC. I was looking for some rays of sunshine in the data. And so you can see roughly how many logs, exactly how many logs were submitted for each of the modes for a total number of logs. And what we believe the member participation was there. And then this 198 is basically a union of all the different ops that operated across the two contests. So 198 club members got involved somewhere or another, which I see that as encouraging. I think we need to continue though to emphasize operating for the contest club. You can see for dues current. So dues current for us is defined as anybody who's valid through December of 2025. But generally, we feel and have used in the past the people that are just in the 1 year elapsed window. We usually still count those. So you can see our operating percentages, our current membership plus 1 year's in elapsed. So this is a 2024 analysis. So these numbers, paid members and dues current numbers and 1 year in arrears, they're always shifting. So this would have been as of approximately October of last year. We did have CQ does provide in their data set, hours worked. So it's pretty quickly able to come up with an average number of for the single ops only that we're putting in. And that's up 3 hours from our 2023 analysis. We were averaging about 15 hours in the chair. So that's encouraging. It's encouraging. So those are, for the single ops. And so, if you read my newsletter column, which Steve sent out late last night, we're 100, we were in the end 100 million points behind FRC. So, just was looking at that. I did a average points per op calculation. And we're somewhere for both modes a little bit higher on CW, about 1.4 million points per average op, and about a little bit over 1 million. Okay, so all right, so now we got to find 100 operators that can contribute 1 million points each. Well, that's 50 operators per mode. So, it seems like it's something that is achievable, given some good recruiting in the club. All right, any questions further about the competition update?
Ken?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something too, because I don't know how much people think about this, where most operators are doing part-time efforts. Let's say they're either semi-serious or not serious, the number of hours that they're doing. the difference in score for each additional hour operated is proportionately larger than what it took to get them there. So in other words, for the average guy who, let's say, did 18 hours, made 1 million points, if they operate 10 hours, the next 10 hours, they likely more than double their score. And that's something I think a lot of guys don't think about. So in other words, you don't have to operate another 18 hours to get to 2 million. It's more like you operate another 7 to 12 hours and you get to 2 million and beyond. So there is a disproportionate increase for a significantly less amount of additional time that's operated. And guys should be thinking about that when they plan their operating time. You know, do you want to submit this score, or would you like to add half again as much time or twice as much time and double or triple your score, both for your own pleasure as well as for, you know, to help the club? Then if you add additional guys on top of that getting on, that's when you have these massive increases in club score.
Yep. Okay. Any other comments?
Just to say, in the ARRL eligibility list, we have 600 members, 679 members. May want to do some culling there.
Yeah, we have been. Brian and I actually worked that list pretty hard this past fall.
Oh,
The ones that catch us always are when you use a club call. We have to make sure that's in there. But we did do a pretty extensive cleanup that I had reported on previously. Any other comments?
Yeah, it's Dave, K1KA. And maybe I should wait till the treasurer gives his report here, but I just checked the roster for my call and my dues are not up to date according to the roster. So I don't know whether I would have been included. However, I have a receipt here in February where I caught myself up, but it's not showing on the roster.
Okay, I have you paid through 2026, so that's just the webpage being updated, lagging behind a bit.
Okay.
All right.
no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty elaborate process. You know, Bob gets the dues. He's got to record it, deposit it, all that stuff. Then he types up all the dues he's collected for the past month, and he sends that to Brian and I. Brian has to update the webpage. I keep a copy of the roster going here because I find I'm always asking myself how many this, how many that. So you know, we all update it and then we get together occasionally just to sync up, make sure we're all in sync about that. We do appreciate some of you guys sometimes sending your dues where you indicate, oh, this is for 2023 and 2024. But the rule basically is you only need to be current with the current year. So what we've been doing is applying those extra payments to future years for a lot of you guys. With that, any other comments on competition? All right, let me go back to my screen. Thank you, Mike, as usual. So what's this about? A new taller tower too? I mean, come on, what's going on there?
We'll see.
All right, so let's see, that brings us to talk about all this. Okay, any area manager reports out there? I mean, I can talk to, probably saw the report in the newsletter, but just an update. And that really turns out to be kind of a combined Boston, Eastern Mass, Southern Mass type of area meeting. Good representation from those three areas. We had a good time. We did present Randy with the gift certificate there for his support of the club over the years. And then we had some good eats and some good discussions. Any other area managers want to make a report?
Yeah, Ken, I'll chime in.
Okay.
We had a local dinner a couple of weeks ago. No new members, but we did have a young man who showed up and is interested, and I've been mentoring him. And we'll be having another local area meeting by the end of April with potentially 2 new members that Brian's been working on. And for those who can't see me, I'm John, K-E-1-I-H, Northern New York area.
Thank you, John.
That's it,
Yes.
Ken.
Thank you for running those too. Really appreciate it. We do have several area manager slots open. Take a look in the newsletter. KA2D was our New York City / Long Island area manager, and he just submitted his resignation a few weeks ago. So we have an opening there. You know, because of the large region that we cover, I think area managers perform a valuable role. Just keeping small groups of us together, getting small groups of us together, and give me enough heads up warning. I'll try to make time to attend your area meeting should you decide to hold one. One of these days, I'm going to get out to you guys, John, out there. Looks like you got a nice little place to meet.
Yeah, we do. We'd enjoy you.
Okay. All right, next up is, this is April, and it is time for elections. So this is the current slate. Here, I'll ask one time, are there any nominations from the floor for anybody that may be interested in any of these positions? All right, hearing nothing. Hearing nothing, what's the procedural move? I guess it's something to the effect. As acting secretary, I make a motion that I submit one vote in favor of the slate. Can I have that? I made the motion. Can I have it seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
You see, the number of years in office there. Thank you for the candidate. Thank you for the candidates. Thank you for the officers in the club for the work that they do. All right. So we're actually in pretty good shape here. We're running a little bit fast. At this point, we'll do new member voting. So let me stop the share because I need to see the screen to see who's here. And so I seem to recall, I think we have 3 new candidates out here. So let me dig them up. All right, so no, I guess no, it's already. All right, I think we'll start with the K2 SAV. So Bill just submitted his application hot off the presses as we were getting set up for the meeting. Where are you, Bill? Oh, there you are. I see you on the screen. Okay, so Bill Savacool, K2 SAV, just submitted his application. He's out in, what is it, Schenectady, New York, FN32 AT?
Yep.
Okay. How'd you find out about the club?
Through one of your members, Nick Mason.
Okay, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. All right, and so it says you're a beginner contester. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about your experiences.
I was just in the contest last weekend. I joined Nick and a couple other people at K1 Triple T out in Peru.
Yeah.
Nick and I went to Vanuatu together last year in October and participated in the contest at the end of October. The only other contesting experience would be field day, if you count that. The rest of my HF activity is POTA operations.
Oh, excellent.
So active in POTA.
All right, so nothing really set up at home now, you indicate, but you looking to join, help out the multi-ops and stuff like that, which is appreciated.
Yeah, no home shack just yet. The ability to do POTA operations has kind of kept pushing that back. It's, you know, the instant hit of getting on the air versus actually setting something up at home has been a lot better for the dopamine.
Okay. All right. So we would probably consider Nick to be your mentor then, K1NZ, right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Having heard Bill, what do you like to be called?
Savo. Mhm.
Okay, haven't heard Savo describe himself and his interest in contesting. I'd entertain a motion from the floor to accept him as a member. See a
So
hand up
moved.
from Mike. Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Well, so Savo, what's going to happen next is you'll get a email from our club secretary with all the details, how to pay your dues, and how to get signed up on the club's email reflector. And that's key. I mean, it's really 99% of the club business gets transacted on the reflector. If you're not on the reflector, you don't know what's going on in the club. So you'll see that email. Once you pay your dues, you'll be a full member of the club.
Okay. And I can do that through PayPal, I understand?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Thought we had another one out here. Any other potential new members? Make yourself known. Guess not. All right, good. Okay. All right, so we're kind of running ahead of schedule now. Just going around here, see what else we got. How about we do a quick break, 5-minute break, and then come back and we'll get started with Fred's talk on wire antennas. Sound like a plan?
All right.
Randy, you out here still? I see Brian's in there. Morning, Brian.
I am here. I'm out. It's very hard to operate Zoom on your phone. I never have the right screen up.
Yeah, getcha. Any progress on taking down the towers since I was last there?
So the two big towers are completely down. So I just have a 40-footer with the tri-bander left to go. And I'm in Ohio this week, and I got the tower holes dug. And then we've had unbelievable rain every day. So I have 8 holes that are 4 feet deep that are almost completely filled with water.
Oh, great.
And the
Wow.
concrete guys are talking about Tuesday or Wednesday. So we'll see how it goes.
Wow. So much fun.
Yes.
You know, good luck. Good luck with that.
By the way, going forward, you may want to set the default on these meetings to join muted,
Okay.
because I noticed when I changed phones that I came in unmuted.
All right. Thanks for that.
And Ken, while everyone is taking a break, I've never actually shared my screen before. Is there anything I have to do here special to share a screen?
Yeah. You know, get the presentation set up the way you want it, and then there's that little green box right in the middle of the Zoom screen on the bottom.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you can then you hit that button and it'll show you what it could potentially share, and you pick the one you want to share and you say share.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. VE9SV, I don't recognize you. Good morning.
It's just me, K1EP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, George wants to use his call, so I'll use mine.
All right. All right. And welcome back, Don. Don's a new member from just about a week ago, right, Don?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Thanks for paying your dues and all that good stuff. Got it all wrapped up. Just
Ready
a
to
full
go.
member now.
Yeah, thanks. Looking forward to the next contest.
Yeah, any particular one you have in mind, or?
Well, I do the CQMM because I became a member. And so there are multipliers for contacting members. Like it's 10 points if you contact a member. So I usually have a lot of people contacting me.
Okay.
Ken, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
About the score we've seen, are those the score only within the circle or the reported scores?
Yeah, we usually because the contest sponsors set the limits on the circle, so those would be the scores that counted towards the competition, the club competition.
Because that's it. I
Yeah,
do
so
contest, but I'm not within the circle, so I just thought that the club would consider that. I understand about the circle, but
yeah, I believe you are in the circle, because the ARL changed their circle to be the same as CQ, so it's 250 miles now.
yeah, the CQ, yes, at 250 miles we're within.
Yes, so it's the same with the ARL now.
What?
It is
Yeah.
the same. Yeah. So all you guys up there, the Great White North, count for us.
Okay. ARL, you mean it's 250 miles now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that's all good.
Thank you.
I just realized I don't have a dot on the map there. Very, very, very southeast corner of Vermont.
Yeah.
Right about where the
You looking at the
H-
web page?
Yeah, right where the H for New Hampshire is.
Okay. That map was based on membership roster from something like 2022 or something like that. So It's not trivial to update. I've actually got direction into our webmaster to, even though it is a neat widget, it's just impossible to keep up to date. So I'm just going to show the club circles and remove that data from there.
Right. Well, now I think in my direct area, I'm the only member I know of now that N2HX passed away. We used to like to self-compete between each other, so miss him a lot.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Yep. And welcome back, Ken. Ken is another new member from just about a week ago. How you doing? Looks like where are you, Ken? Yeah. Ken joined up last week, so did you get on in the contest at all, Ken? You're currently muted. Ken, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Still
There you are.
muted. Oh, I was looking at the other Ken. I was looking at you thinking I was unmuted. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I did the contest last weekend, and one of the comments made by a gentleman that earlier said that you don't realize how much your points increase, and I was right on the verge of being able to double my points. Had I known that, I would have been a little more motivated to keep going. So that was a good learning experience. And
Yep.
Yeah, I've been distracted here playing with Riddy a little bit, but the bands are pretty dead.
Okay.
But yeah,
good.
Appreciate the opportunity to learn a little more. Looking forward to the antenna discussion, seeing as how that's what I run off as a wire right now.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And I've had some extra time, as you can see. I've had my neck in a brace. So it affords some time on the radio, not actually working.
Yeah.
Realizing what retirement might feel like. And not being able to do anything. Like fishing, as you can see above my head. Fly tying in the background.
Nice.
That I've been able to do.
Looks like you could use those fishing rods to cast a line over a pine tree for your antenna.
That's what I use.
I did manage to do that with a chunk of lead wrapped in tape. Yeah, the antenna's up 30 feet high, inverted box. What is it, about 70 feet long, 33 on each end, something like that. And I find it to be somewhat directional, of course, east to west.
I have a sort of an announcement or question. I have this is Ed, K1EP. I have an extra room for Visalia next week. It's a room with 2 beds. If anybody's interested, I'm going to cancel it probably tomorrow or Monday. So drop me an email or speak up now.
Okay, you heard him. Has anybody gone on the Slack channel?
I'm on Slack, but I don't know how to join the group.
Well, it's that one of the emails had the link last week. Right? We'll just go to groups.io and just look for that. Look for that thread. It's the same link that Jerry had set up back in 2019.
Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah, after the initial burst of activity from the YCCC reflector discussion, I think it pretty much tailed off. So there were a number of members, including myself, that joined up, and then the discussion disappeared. So a lot of other people didn't join yet, but it would be great if more guys could take notice of that, and then I think gradually some of the conversations will gravitate towards there.
Yeah, like I said, we are up around 85 members, which if you consider that against the current paid membership, that's about a 50% uptake. So, the next thing is you got to kind of have it running in the background. Oh, there's Ed. Ed just joined. Welcome aboard, Ed.
Ken?
Yeah.
Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Jerry, W1GD. So the Slack, so I went back, and the Slack that I was discussing online was the YCCC one set up by K1IR in 2019.
Okay.
That's the one that has no activity. I'll have to go back and see what this one is, because I went back to that last night, and there's still only like 3 people signed up for it. Myself, K1IR and Marty and N1C. I think there might have been a 4th person, but that was it. And there have been no message traffic on it since 2019. So, but I'll go back and look at this, see what this link is.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was Jerry who set it up. Those guys might have done something, because Marty supports Jim a lot. With tower work and stuff like that. So maybe they set something up on the side for themselves, which is obviously possible. We do have some 85 members signed up here. And the reason why I thought this was the one Jerry set up was because I don't even think Jim is in here. So. All right, how we doing on time? All right, 10 o'clock. Perfect.